Hey guys, thanks for joining me on this one. I'm heading off now, looking for a spot where I can put together a little lean-to shelter. We got a bit of weather coming. There is a blizzard warning for tonight, so my plan is to put together a little lean-to shelter. That's going to be my focus for the next little while, because I want to make sure that once the heavy snow and wind starts, that I'm protected in there. So I got to find a spot where I can put together a little lean-to. The tree cover here should help with reducing the wind and keeping the snow off of me. And I scouted out as well as a little bit of dry wood I can use for firewood around here. So. Well, that's too bad. I was going to use the agua saw just to cut this down and get a bit of firewood going afterwards, but one of the little bolts or nuts that holds it together fell out and I can't find it around. But luckily I can get by here tonight with the axe. So I'm going to cut this down here as I was planning with the saw. Just going to cut that down and then get the ribs for the sides of the shelter. Okay, so got my ridge poles now. I'm just going to work on getting lots of ribs to put up there and then some boughs. Get that done so I can concentrate on getting some firewood. Because it's going to be an actual blizzard situation, I want to make sure that I'd rather be like overkill on the boughs, try to get as much snow and wind out of the shelter inside of it as possible. So, and then of course I got to get some boughs inside there as well to lie down on. So still lots of work to do, but I'm excited to see how the shelter holds up once the blizzard hits, and hoping that I can do the whole night here. So it's starting to look like something, but we're going to be getting 80 to 100 km/h winds and around 40 to 60 centimeters of snow. So I've got a lot more boughs I need to get and a lot more securing I need to do. I'm going to have a little door right here, and I'm just going to take out my slide that I hauled everything up in, and I'm just going to pull that across as a door. So it's around the same size. I left it for that, and probably take the rest of my belongings in here as well, just tucking them back and all. Cuddle up there, put some boughs down. I got a sleeping bag. So I gotta say I'm really excited because, you know, to get the test your skills, not just winter camping, but this is going to be a full-on blizzard. Hopefully I'll be just as excited now tonight once we're in full swing and the winds are howling and the snow is starting to pile up. I'm hoping that I'm going to be nice and dry and out of the elements in my bushcraft shelter here. So not a bad start, but I think I'm going to need probably twice as much as what I already have on. So that's it. Before it gets dark now, I'm going to go off and gather some more boughs. Looking cool. So starting to feel pretty good about it now. I have a good amount of boughs. I've never slept in a lean-to shelter in a blizzard, so I'm hoping I got enough. I'm going to put those on, and I'm not even worried about the floor yet. I'll worry about that after. If worst comes to worst, at least I can get in and out of the blizzard. But I do have two and a half hours or so before the actual blizzard hits. So this is kind of like the calm before the storm. But that's my plan now, to show you guys the whole development of the storm and how I make out now inside the bushcraft survival shelter here tonight. Yeah, this is awesome. It's pretty cool, I gotta say. I'm having lots of fun. But enough talking now. I got to get this shelter a lot more winterized than what it is now. Get it ready for the blizzard. Luckily, even with the saw malfunction and the fact that a lot of my energy has been taken up making the shelter, I'm going to do all right for firewood. There's lots of dry wood around that I can even just crack off from the trees. Once the blizzard's going, I don't think the fire is going to be doing me much good anyhow. I'll be bundled up inside the shelter itself. So it's pretty cool how the boughs just cover it all in, like siding, if you will. Starting to look like a cave in there. So not too bad. I think I'm going to do one final push, just get a couple more big boughs to put on the roof mainly, but a couple on the sides as well. And I'm hoping then that the cover of the trees plus the shelter will keep me relatively free of the blowing snow that later. Couple pieces just like that. I'll just lay it over there in front of the shelter. We're going to have the fire. That'll be a good base then to have the fire on. Might not be the driest wood this here, but that's okay. At least it'll keep it up off the direct bit of snow that's on the ground. Like, we don't have a whole lot of snow yet for this time of the year, so it's going to be quite the change tomorrow morning if we get the snow we're supposed to get. So I'm just going to let that warm me up for a bit. Alright, so I've been working up a good appetite for sure, building a shelter, getting a bit of firewood going, so I'm going to put on some supper. On the menu tonight I have a bone-in chicken breast. I'm going to put that on first, and then I have some potato fish cakes that I'm going to put on as well. Now, I do have a couple moose sausages that I'm hoping to have for breakfast tomorrow morning, but depending on the blizzard situation, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get breakfast, so a sausage or two might go on the menu for tonight as well. We shall see. So this is a fresh bone-in chicken breast, and it is sprinkled, looks like some sort of barbecue seasoning on it. Put a little bit of some coals there. We're just putting a little bit of dry wood underneath it. Want to make sure that it's safe for the fire not going out. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, buddy. How can you not enjoy this when you're up in the woods? Cooking up. I'm getting a little bit antsy because the snow's starting to come down now, so I think I'm just going to eat the chicken breast, get some boughs for the shelter, for the floor, and then I'll come back and I'll stoke the fire up and put on some of the fish cakes, maybe a moose sausage or two. Like I said, I don't know what it's going to be like in the morning for, getting out of here, so we'll see anyway. I do have my little stove that I have, the little propane stove, so I can always get that cooked up in the shelter, just have a little bit of ventilation. Move some of the boughs aside, open up the door. But right now this is beautiful, like a little bit of snow coming down. It's awesome. The winds are calm. So I'm quite excited actually to be up here and to spend the night in the snow. Kind of challenging yourself to, trying something a little bit different. I did attempt to sleep during a blizzard when I first started the channel there around 2 years ago now, and I was not prepared, I guess, for how much effort it was at getting into the location I went to, and I was really sweaty and wet before I even got in there, and I ended up having to call that one and making it home. But here now, I've got a great location. I got my shelter, I got the fire, got the food on. I've got, I feel 100% more confident than that first time. So I'm here, and I am looking to make this a successful overnighter. It's starting to smell good. The snow is starting to start up, so I'll be hunkering her down in there and just surviving the night. So let me show you what's on the menu. So it was going to be fish cakes with that as well, but depending on if I got some time afterwards, I might put on some fish cakes and some moose sausage. But I've got to prioritize now getting some boughs for the floor of the shelter. That smells pretty good though, so I'm looking forward to eating that. Oh yeah. didn't realize how hungry I was. Can't go wrong with bone and chicken breast. Snow's starting to pick up though, you can see. You'd be amazed too how sound you sleep when you're out like this and you realize how lucky you are to have the shelter. Colin too. Just going to clean this out. A little bit of snow, melt that down. Give it a little wash. I think this is what the forecast was calling for earlier. They're calling for a little bit of flurries before the actual blizzard hit. So I think this is the flurries that we're after having now in the past half hour or so. The winds are still pretty calm here in the woods anyway. Alright, so now it's time to get that floor started. Get the boughs for the floor. And I'll be relaxed then. Hopefully I can enjoy some more campfire time before I gotta hunker down inside the shelter for the duration of the blizzard. Alright, so just back from gathering up a few boughs, and snow's coming down nice. The wind still hasn't picked up yet, but the snow's coming down. Pretty noticeable now. So I'm just going to put some boughs into the floor of the shelter, and then I'm thinking I'm going to be able to enjoy some campfire time. I got some nice dry wood over along the side there that I'm going to cut down and bring over. So anyway, starting to feel pretty good now about the fact that I have supper in me, and shelter's done now. I'm just about completed the floor, so we're getting there. The boughs inside the shelter on the floor serve two purposes. Number one, it's going to insulate me a little bit from the ground, because of course the ground is cold and there's ice on it. And also it's going to provide like a little layer of cushion to lay my sleeping bag on, so it's going to be a bit more comfortable then as well. I'm just shaking all the snow off before I put it inside, and then I'm going to distribute it on the ground. And you want to, when you're putting the boughs in the shelter like that, you want to make it so it's like the curved part is up, and that way then it's kind of a spring when you lie down on it. With the blizzard warning, I'm taking a little bit of a gamble. I'm pretty confident there's going to be a snow day tomorrow. If not, I'm going to set my alarm nice and early in the morning, so that it's probably around an hour before I pack up, hour and a half to get home. So I'll just set my alarm nice and early, probably 5 o'clock or so, and that way then if work is going ahead, I'll still have time to pack up, do the hike out, which is around a half hour, 40 minutes, then go home, grab a shower, and still make it for work in time. So a little bit of Super Bowl Sunday roulette, Storm Day roulette. Not really. I'm going to get a good night's sleep, and if work goes ahead, I'll be good to go. So I got a fair amount of boughs afterwards, so I'm just going to lay those down now, so that you have the curved part facing up. And then when I put my sleeping bag on top of that, like I was saying, it's going to provide two functions. Putting the boughs here, it's going to insulate you from the ground. And it's also going to provide a little bit of comfort as well, rather than sleeping on the hard ground. So my feet are going to be down this way. My head's going to be up by the door. I'm thinking I'm going to haul in my gear as well and put that down by my feet. The slide that I hauled everything up in is going to be my door, because once the winds start picking up later on, you're looking at 100-kilometer-an-hour winds, 40 plus centimeters of snow. The temperature was around -6 degrees Celsius when I came up. Yeah, so I'm going to have a fair amount of boughs, all right. So I still got lots of boughs outside, so I'm just going to keep putting them in here. That's going to keep me off the cold ground. So needless to say, we're into the start of the blizzard now. I think you can see all the snow starting to come down. Luckily I got a good fire going. I got a bit of firewood left there as well. I got a few candles lit inside my shelter. The boughs are up there. It's keeping the snow out for the most part. I don't have the sleeping bag laid out yet or anything. What I think I'm going to do now is just hang up by the fire. This jacket's getting pretty wet, but I do have, I've got some other layers of clothes I'm going to put on once I go to bed. So I'll be nice and dry. I have a nice dry shirt, wool sweater, and that'll keep me nice and warm. But right now, I think I am going to get some of that, probably a moose sausage or two, and some potato fish cakes that I have here. This is winter camping, no doubt about it. I'm thinking after I get a bite to eat here now, I'm just going to stoke the fire up, and I'm going to get in the shelter, put the door up, and just get as cozy as I can for the night. Kind of hunker down. So I had a chicken breast earlier, but I never had any carbs with it, so this is going to be pretty good. Potato fish cakes. Put 3 of them on, probably save 3 for tomorrow morning. Hopefully I'll be able to get a bit of breakfast on the go before I haul out. I was just changing the battery in the shelter, and it is nice to know that it does feel like you're in a shelter when you're in there, so that's good. So like I said, just getting something to eat now, and then I'm looking forward to getting in the shelter and drying off, and then bundling up and hopefully getting a good sleep. So this definitely wreaks havoc on all the equipment when you're up here filming. So not only is it hard on like just putting your gloves and stuff on, and then the camera equipment and that. You got to get the snow off the lens and everything else. So it was actually so hard on the camera. I got the camera inside the shelter looking out at the fire, so I still got some moose sausage on there, but it was so hard on the camera. My speaker was getting covered, the camera itself was getting covered, and I was wiping it off so often, and the lens was just full with water melting from the snow. It's kind of like a wet snow coming down, so I am just looking forward now to eating those moose sausages. And I'm just going to get a little bit of a warm up here by the fire. I got lots of wood on the fire, so it's going to be nice just to hear the sound of the fire outside. That is good, so I'm just going to eat these sausages, and then I'm getting inside the shelter. And like I said, I got all the wood on the fire. Everything that I'm not taking inside the shelter, I got over leaning against a tree with the axe handle that's yellow, so I should be able to find all that stuff in the morning. But yeah, I'm just going to eat that now, warm up by the fire a bit, and then I'm coming inside and getting set up for the night. Hey, what's up? So I'm just recording on my phone right now, just sitting by the fire here. So I'm about to call it a night pretty shortly. I'm just going to crawl into the shelter. I'm going to take off my wet jacket. I got some dry layers inside, and I'm going to put my sleeping bag inside the bivvy, because the bivvy is the emergency bivvy is waterproof. So I think I'll put the sleeping bag right inside that, and just kind of call it a night. It's around 10:30 right now, so it's close to bedtime anyway. So I'll check back in with you guys once I'm inside the shelter. Guys, that's pretty much it. I'm inside the shelter. I got the slide up now to the door. One thing that I'm grateful that I brought tonight is the emergency bivvy. So I have my sleeping bag inside the emergency bivvy, and that's great because even if a little bit of snow comes into the shelter, I'm going to be nice and dry then inside this. So I'm actually feeling nice and toasty. Another thing that I've learned from experience as well, and it's really important when you're doing stuff like this, is to have some dry clothes with you. So I had a nice thermal top and fleece, what do you call it, merino wool sweater, and then I had this white wool sweater as well. So once I got inside the shelter and put all that on, I was able to get nice and warm. So you can still see, you can see my breath here. It's a cold night, and you can hear the wind starting to howl outside. I was trying to change the battery on my GoPro, and everything starts freezing up. The little thing that I use to secure the GoPro to the selfie stick, that wouldn't turn, so I couldn't get it off, couldn't put a new battery in it, so I'm just filming on my phone now. So anyway, hope I'll have enough battery power in my camera for tomorrow morning to film. Other than that, I'm going to go to bed now. It's been a long day, It's been fun. It's definitely a bit different sleeping, like I said, when you have a blizzard like this. But feeling nice and cozy inside here now, so I am going to go to sleep. So that's it. Good night for now. Good night, my blizzardy friends. I shall see you guys in the morning. So it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Schools are canceled for the day. The shelter worked quite nice. I'm quite glad to be inside the shelter, actually, to tell you the truth. Compared to being outside, that's for sure. Well, it's a little bit cold. I mean, you are camping in winter. The shelter worked good. It all stayed intact. The winds are up to 100 kilometers an hour, and nothing came apart from the shelter. A little bit of snow, of course, blew in by the door, because the slide that I put up for the door didn't completely block the entrance. But other than that, I was glad that I had the bivvy to put my sleeping bag inside of. But it was, all in all, I was quite pleased with how the shelter turned out. Okay guys, so thanks for joining me on this adventure here last night. It was definitely quite the learning experience. I'm quite happy with how my shelter turned out. Quite pleased that I was able to spend the night and to rely on my bushcraft skills. If you like this, subscribe to River Spawns and Campfires. Lots more adventures that you can check out. Lots more adventures coming up. Don't think I'm going to be doing any breakfast this morning, just too cold and windy. I'm just going to get warmed up now in the shelter, get packed up and make my way out. So once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and help support the channel. We'll see you guys on the next one.